Okay, let's talk about layering in Paint.net. And what I want to do is I want to create an image that's going to have a star-spangled background. It's going to have an eagle in front, and then it's going to have the moon. And then I might put some text in there later that says the eagle has landed. And so I'm going to start by creating a new image. It wants to know its size. I'm just going to go with the default. When I start adding layers, the image will actually expand and get bigger according to whatever image I import. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK here. So I start with this one layer, and if I hit the checkbox here, the layer disappears. So my layer is basically a big white plane, just white. And if I unclick it, it becomes transparent. And I want to create a new layer, and there's a couple ways I can create a new layer. I can come down here and hit Add New Layer. But the way that I want to create one is by importing one. So if I go to Layers here, one of the choices is Import from File. So I'm going to start by importing this star-spangled background. Then I'll import a eagle layer, and then a moon layer, and then I'll create a layer of text. So here I'm importing my stars field, and I'm just going to hit Open here. And now that made my image bigger. It created a layer here called Stars, and notice it highlighted it blue. I can uncheck it, it disappears. I can check it, it shows up. And now that I've got two layers, I've got to be careful because the only layer that I can affect is the layer that's selected. So I might be sitting here trying to do something, wondering why it's not working. Well, it's because I don't have the layer selected. Because we're now not looking at we're looking at a bunch of layers stacked on top of each other, and we're going to only be able to work on one layer at a time. Alright, so I've got my stars layer. On top of this layer, I'm going to put another layer. So I'm going to import layer from File. And that's going to be my eagle without the background. Okay, so there's my eagle without the background. And with this, I can take the eagle and I can drag it around. I can work on it, change it. But I just want to get it so that it's in front of the star-spangled field all the way over here to the right. Alright, that's good. Now notice that I was able to move it because my eagle layer was selected. If I select the star, or the background layer, let's say, I try to move the eagle, I can't move the eagle around anymore because it's not selected, but I am moving around the background, which I don't care about, and I can't see because the stars are in front of it. Alright, now I want to add a moon here. And so I'm going to go again and import a layer from File. And there's the moon. Okay. And so that, again, put the layer on top of everything. This moon is huge. It's so big that it dwarfs all of my other images. And so I've got to shrink this moon down and move it over. So what I'm going to do is I just want to select all this black and then delete it so that I can just see the moon. And to do this, I've got to, I've subtracted the whole background here. Now I'm going to subtract just a circle here. So I'm going with the elliptic tool. I've got it in subtract mode. I'm going to come over here to the side of my moon, right on the circumference. I'm going to click on it, hold the shift key down so it makes a circle. And I'm going to try to pull that right to the other side of the moon. Try to get the entire moon within my selection. Okay, so that did in fact get the moon. It looks like it did a very good job. And really what happened is I had selected everything and then I subtracted that circle from it. So all that's selected now is a black background. I can hit delete and that's gone. Now I can see a little bit of what's going on in the background. Okay, so now I want to resize this moon, and I can move it around, but I need to shrink it, and I can shrink the whole layer. So I'm going to go to Layer and go to Layer Properties. I'm sorry, not Layer Properties. I'm going to go to Rotate Zoom, and then from that, this has some pre-settings in it that I had worked on before, but I can basically shrink the size of the moon, and I can control where that moon is going to be. So I'm going to make this smaller and smaller by clicking on this zoom button. Okay, that's about the right size. And then I can choose whether it goes left or right or up or down. So there I'm moving it down a little bit, I'm moving it up a little bit, and then move it to the left. Alright, so there we go. I can also rotate it, but I won't worry about that. Then I have to hit OK, and that will make the changes permanent. And now my layer's moved over here. And so that's pretty good. If I hit Control Plus, that's how I can zoom in on things. What I want to do is I want to create a, oops, I just moved that moon. What I want to do is I want to create some text on here, and I also want to crop the image so that it's just this portion. I'm going to start by putting some text. Okay, so I'm going to start by creating a new layer just for the text, and so I'm going down to Add New Layer. Another layer pops up here. If I want to, I can double click on that layer and then change its name. So instead of being layer 5, I'm calling it text, and I can hit OK. And now I can put some text on here, and so I want to choose my text tool. I want to make it so that the font is big enough, so I'm choosing 96, which is huge. Pick something I like here as far as the font goes. I'm going to give it a color of yellow, and then I can click on my image where I want it. The eagle has landed. Yay! Alright, so now I've got that layer. Now once I've got this, I can start cropping. That means I'm going to try to get rid of all this white stuff, crop in on it, and one way that I can do this is I can start merging all my layers together. So I'm going to take my text layer, and I've got this choice here, merge layer down. I'm just going to start merging everything. So merging. Okay, so now I've merged everything together, and if I go to my square selection tool, I can select my entire image, and then there's a little crop tool up here, crop to selection. Hit that. Oh, I must have had it selected the wrong way. Control Z undoes what I was doing. I need to invert my selection. Edit, invert selection. So I was subtracting when I wanted to be adding. But now my selection, well, I've still got some weird stuff going on here, so I've got to get rid of this, making it back into a square. Okay, crop, please work. Alright, so I've cropped my image. Dang it, I can still see some transparent stuff over here. I've got to switch to add, try to crop it again. Crop. Alright, now I can zoom in on it. So there's my finished image. You know, quick, easy look at doing some layers. Alright.